Okay, you guys, let's do some more life hacks from the life hack 2022 calendar. That'd be fun. Let's see. Where'd we leave off? My Bob Ross cup. Looking to speed up your car cleaning? Use a leaf blower to get every last crumb off the floor and out from under the seats. I don't think I would do that, but next up, sprinkle salt on a napkin before putting a drink on it. This will prevent the napkin from sticking to your cup. Now, that's a good idea. Next up, the best way to clean a microwave. Put a cup of hot water and vinegar inside. Turn it on for 3 to 5 minutes, and then wipe it clean with ease. I'm guessing you need to get it to where it's boiling. I'm guessing, but that sounds like a good idea. Vinegar is a good cleaner. Did you know you can check your mailbox digitally? The United States Postal Service is now offering a service called Informed Delivery that will show you the scanned images of everything headed to your mailbox on a certain day. Need some change? Put your cash into a vending machine and hit the coin return button without ordering anything. Really? That sounds too easy. Wonder if you can still do that. If you can still find a vending machine that takes cash. I had that problem with a parking garage. I thought I didn't owe anything because I had a free parking ticket. I owed $3 and I tried to give them $3 and I had to push the button. An actual person had to come out. Next up, smiling for 60 seconds, even when you're in a bad mood, will immediately improve your mood. Using those muscles is enough to trigger the happy chemicals in your brain. Next up, make note of what someone does for you when you're sick. It's probably the same thing that comforts them the most when they aren't feeling well. That's a good point. Very true. If you're trying to fix a bad sleep cycle, stop thinking about what time you need to go to sleep. Instead, think about when you want to wake up every day. No naps, no set bedtime. Just get out of bed at a fixed time. That might work. Next up, don't leave a sports game early. The most historic games were determined in the final seconds. Isn't that the truth? And we did that so many times with Dodger games at Dodger stadiums. When the kids were little, we'd go with Grandpa, we'd go with my husband, and kids were little, and and it would always be a evening game, a 7:05. Bigger than beans. We'd get in the car, we'd turn the radio on, and somebody just hit a grand slam or a home run. Sometimes we'd even hear the crowd roar as we're walking back to the car. Terrible. Putting deodorant on an insect bite can stop the itching. Next up, when washing windows, squeegee vertically outside the window and horizontally inside the window. That way, if you see streaks, you'll know which side they're on. I don't know if I would do that. I think I would do both sides of the window the same way. Using vinegar and water. Vinegar and water is so wonderful for cleaning windows. With newspaper, instead of vinegar and water and then wiping them down with a paper towel or a towel or wash rag, all those things leave like little dust spots. But if you crumple up a newspaper, black and white newspaper, it's almost like window perfection. Mixing M&Ms and Skittles and Reese's Pieces is, they call it an evil party prank. Why is that a prank? M&Ms, Skittles, Reese's Pieces. It says it equals the most evil party prank. I don't know why they say evil, but anyways, now we know, I guess. Next up, get bad motion sickness while traveling. The best thing to take is Dramamine, but if you don't have access to that, Benadryl will help relieve the symptoms as well. Didn't know that. I think wouldn't that be because Benadryl puts you to sleep? Next up, job hunting tip. If a business constantly has a now hiring sign on the storefront, it's probably not a good place to work. Well, also, a lot of places just always have a now hiring. And then when you go in, it might not be exactly hiring right that second. Oh no, I have it confused with now accepting applications. That's right. Because really, that's, they wouldn't say now hiring if they're just doing applications. I got it backwards. Okay, did I skip one? Next up, is your printer low on black ink? Change the font color to dark tan. it looks identical to black ink. A good idea. I think I've tried that before. But couldn't do it. I want to try to do that again. Very rarely do we print in color. Next up, scared of getting mugged in a certain area? Buy a cheap wallet and put a few bucks in it. If you get mugged, hand over that wallet and keep your real wallet with your cash cards and passport safe. Good idea. In fact, it's just always safe to have like money so you have something for that, exactly that. So they'll like quickly take the money and run, right? Next up, inflation is currently approximately 2% per year. If you're not getting a larger raise than that per year, you are technically getting a pay cut. You can use this knowledge to your advantage when asking for a raise or doing a year-end evaluation. Wow, 2% a year. I think inflation really spiked this year, hasn't it? Terrible. Next up, running out of places to keep drinks cold at your party? Put some ice in the washing machine and use it as an extra cooler. Possibly. But that's kind of if you're having a party inside, right? I don't know. I have to share that one with Loretta for our next party event. I don't think I'll use that one unless the laundry room is all open for people to pass in and out of the house and have the cold drinks in the washing machine. And then next to it on the dryer, have all like chips and munchies. Possibly. Looking to save space in your suitcase? Stuff your socks and underwear inside your shoes. Next up, naming a new cat. Names like Rainbow Princess may sound cool, but you should know that cats tend to only respond to shorter names. The best solution is to stick to names with 1 or 2 syllables, preferably ending in EE sound. I don't know that that's true. I've never felt that a cat responded. Like, I don't know, maybe that's why I prefer dogs that possibly don't understand cat language, but so it ends in an EE, like, that's why they say, here kitty kitty, spicy, or Maggie, Fluffy, Princey, Cutesy. Possibly. I just never felt that way with a cat. Same with our horse. My horse's name was Cindy, simply because the previous owners had named her Cindy. So I never felt that when I said Cindy. She knew that was her name. I think it was just the presence. She heard us coming or seen us coming. We had food and little treats. Next up, Looking for a new camera? Go to flickr.com cameras and you can browse photos by the camera that they were shot on. Good idea. Next up, shoes stink from walking all day? Simply throw them in your freezer when you get home and it will kill the bacteria and get rid of the stink. Are you kidding me? I do not want my, unless they mean an empty freezer, I would not want my shoes in there near the food. I just wouldn't. Just like anybody setting their shoes on like a table, coffee table, kitchen table, or even here in this bar area. I can't handle that, right? I definitely would not do that. Next up, I want to get through airport security faster. Get in line with all the business travelers. They are usually in a rush, and they travel light, and they know the drill. Next up, if you ever get trapped underwater in your car, use your car seat headrest to break the window. So that you would just, you would pull it out of the socket and you would use the metal part of the headrest. So I'm guessing everything's electric and I'm guessing the windows don't roll down. Oh my goodness, that'd be terrible. Next up, fighting sleep while on a long drive. Find the nearest Walmart. They don't have time limits in their parking lots, which means you're legally allowed to park your car, park your truck or your RV there overnight. I think we've known that, haven't we? Walmart has that option, but it seems like to me, I heard on, the YouTube, all the travelers, seems like I heard one person in particular who was now cautious doing that because they had security guards or police people kind of guarding it or watching it. I have to see if that's still true. But back in the day when we traveled, it was. Next up, simple chocolate-covered strawberries. Pour some melted chocolate into an ice cube tray and dip a strawberry into each square. Do you leave it in there? Oh, I guess they're just making it easy to dip. Next up, if a bee colony has set up a hive that you need to have removed, don't call the exterminator. Beekeepers will often relocate the hive for free. It's an easy way to be kind to both the bees and your wallet. good idea. That's a really good idea. Seems like I remember my parents had a beehive that kind of formed on their front porch underneath like the eaves of the roof. And years ago, this was a big mystery. I'm sure I saw a beehive in one of our jumbo avocado trees one morning, but by a few hours later, it was gone, and I always wondered about that. Like, how? And then, I checked, and it hadn't fallen on the ground. But how did it disappear like that? Did like a city, person, landscaping person come by and nab it, or the tree inspectors nab it, or was it a beekeeper? It was in the backyard, so possibly they could have just jumped the fence, but I don't think you're allowed to do that if you're a public worker. Interesting. I thought of that for a long time. Next up, you can clear a room full of smoke in approximately 1 minute simply by spinning a wet towel around in that space. Good to know. That happens a lot in the kitchen, and I just open a window. But of course you want to know that if you're in a fire smoke room. But I usually spin a towel around the smoke alarm because I don't want the smoke alarm to go off. But I like the idea of the towel being wet. That makes way more sense. You get rid of the smoke quicker. Next up, when your kids, do you want your kids to memorize your cell phone number? Make the passcode on their iPad or iPhones the same as your cell phone number. Then they will have it memorized within days. Next up, avoid overpaying for taxis in other countries by opening your phone's GPS and putting in the coordinates for the destination yourself. I don't know if I'd want to drive around in another country. Not sure about that one. A great way to have a deep conversation with someone is to take them on a scenic walk. Not being face to face takes a lot of the pressure off, and the right scenery puts everyone, in the mood to open up a little bit more. Next up, you need to tell a believable lie. Make sure to include an embarrassing detail about yourself in the lie. And nobody will doubt a story that makes you look dumb. What? I guess. I really think I learned at a very young age how stressful it is to tell a lie. Yeah, it's too stressful to lie. If I wanted to lie, I'd probably have to talk to him on the phone and pretend I'm making up a phone conversation with them. Because I do love talking on the phone. I love my phone role plays. I could probably do that. someone's car, and I dinged it. I had to lie about it. I could do that on the phone. I could call them and say, yeah, well, I have some good news and some bad news. I'm back from my trip. Thank you for letting me use your car. Bad news, there's a huge ding on the side of the bumper in the front. I have no clue where I was. I'm minding my own business, walking back to the car. There it is, bigger than beans. Big gash in your bumper. Now I can do that. That's terrible. Next up, clearing out your windows on your computer. Search size.gigantic, and it'll display all the files on your computer greater than 128 megabytes. I think we can do that. Or I think there's a way you can just look at your files anyways, and it shows you the size of them. For the best sound in a movie theater, sit 2/3 of the way back and as close to the middle as possible. And this is where audio engineers sit when they mix sound for movies. Interesting. Next up, when anxious thoughts arise, start mentally describing objects or actions you see in your vicinity as if you were narrating a story. This will distract your brain from spiraling down that dreaded black hole. Yeah, I've thought of so many little things to help pull me out of anxiety. It's not even funny. The games I play with myself to keep me from having a panic attack. Unbelievable. I file it under the heading section behavior modification. That's a good one. And I do a lot of deep breathing. And it's a sign for others, especially my daughter. My husband, I think, knows by now. It took him a long while to catch on, but when they see me heaving and deep breathing, like, for no reason, they know it's my little technique for trying to avoid an anxiety, panic attack. That's kind of funny. Gatorade and Powerade are only healthy when used during a workout and when watered down. Otherwise, they're mostly just extra sugar and empty calories. Yes, they are. And I know that, and I keep drinking it. Although I don't drink it now. I make ice cubes out of it to kind of stay away from the Otter Pops, which also are just straight sugar. But for some reason, I've convinced myself that a Gatorade pop, ice cube pop, is more healthy than an Otter Pop. Frozen pop, terrible. Or at least, water them down. But you can get the Zero Powerade and the Zero Gatorade with no sugar. But then you do get some kind of sweetener, which is a food additive. It's probably not healthy. Either way, we need to really eliminate sugar from our diet. And since I can't, I think the best bet for me is to water it down. Like when I fill the ice cube tray, fill half with water and half with Gatorade. But I'm switching to Powerade. Powerade is so much cheaper than Gatorade. It's not even funny. With almost identical tastes. I think at Walmart, a Powerade was like 94 cents, and the same size bottle of Gatorade was $1.20 or $1.30. There's a big difference for one item.